reign of the Speed Metal Kings, Metallica. With 9 Grammy Awards and 14 nominations, 38 concert tours worldwide, and 11 studio albums that span 4 decades, the Titans of Thrash remain the standard by which all other metal is measured. We begin with a 1984 classic from their second album, For Whom the Bell Tolls, followed by the 1992 tour anthem, Wherever I May Roam. And then, let's turn down the house and light up the stage with the Auburn University Marching Band and their show, Metallica.
Hang on a second there. Sorry about that, guys. Let's restart the thing. It's Wednesday night. It's Auburn Family Night. We are here live to talk with you, the Auburn family. Your comments, your questions, your calls, all of that's coming up right here, right now. Let's get into all those different things in the Auburn experience right now. War Eagle, everybody, welcome back to another edition of E2C Network Live, where we get together, we sit down, and we talk about, share the Auburn experience. The Auburn experience to us is all about a few things: Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff. An easier way to say it, though, is if it's orange and blue, it's what we do. So thank you so much for joining us in what we're going to be doing this particular evening on Auburn Family Night. This is my favorite night each and every week with you, obviously the Auburn family, mainly to discuss Auburn topics, about Auburn sports, about Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff. We're going to take comments, questions, topics in the live chat. We're going to take calls as well this evening for those of you that choose to access that. We got a lot to discuss. It's homecoming week after all. And as always, during football season, we're proud to partner with our friends at barnersupply.com. You want to check them out for cool gear, not just like this classic barn hat that I am wearing. We'll have some other that we'll bring up throughout the stream. We got that Barner logo, the Rising Barn, as I call it, logo down there in the bottom corner of the stream as well, that you should check out and get on cool apparel gear everywhere. barnersupply.com. Definitely check them out for a great addition to your Barner Supply closet and, I want to say, trinkets, merchandise, your merchandise needs, thanks to them. All right, we have got an interesting start to the show already because my microphone, for whatever reason, was muted on the screen, but it wasn't muted here. And that's why when you guys saw me starting the show, I was a little bit like, what's going on here? So that's what happens when we go on the road for the very first time this year. Things get a little wild. They get a little hairy. They get a little crazy. But we're here. We're excited to be here and do Auburn Family Night with you all this evening. This is a live call-in show, so you can take advantage of that now. Once again, brought to you by our friends at barnersupply.com. That link is up at the top of the chat. It should be up at the very top of it. I don't think I have it pinned this time, but if you just scroll up to the top, you can access it and be able to utilize that throughout the stream. We'll start taking calls in just a little bit of time. Also, we just want to get into what you guys want to discuss this evening. We'll keep you updated on all the different things that we have going on in our content space throughout the show. So make sure that you are checking in with us like so many of these fine people are, to hang out with us and talk about the Auburn experience this weekend. So as usual, we go where you want us to go, talk about what you want to talk about us with. But primarily, let me start with this. Acknowledge it once again. It is homecoming week, and that means a lot of specialness for the Auburn family. I think a lot of people still dismiss this weekend out of hand, but this is an important weekend in terms of focusing a lot of the proper energy about Auburn spirit, Auburn athletics, coming back home to the Plains if you're able to do so. I do wish that the game was a little bit more of a favorable time, because I think that this time doesn't lend itself to people enjoying the weekend, and it becomes just mainly about the game. But all of that to be said, we have got still a lot to look forward to. We've got the homecoming parade. There's going to be the parade marshal, Octavia Spencer. Yes, the Octavia Spencer. We've got the pep rally that's going to happen afterward. We got other sports that are happening. We have got the game, obviously, homecoming court, the floats, all of this stuff. And we're just getting started. And we're already so behind on our content here, kind of getting it back out to you guys. Some of you saw that out in smatterings. But we're excited to talk about the game, the sports, the family feel of homecoming week here, and we hope that all of you are as well. Hunter's going to get us started with the first comment this evening. He says, "Whiteout, baby. I wish I was able to attend this historic game in person." Another great reason to attend this game is, yes, I don't know the specific stat off of my head at this particular moment, but yes, this is going to be one of those historic times where Auburn wears white at home. I've been privy to this for a little bit of time. I wasn't really given permission to send that out to those of you that I give little tidbits out to, so that's why I haven't. Although I was going to do it today if it hadn't dropped. But I think all of you saw the graphic that Auburn football posted on social media today. And certainly it shows you that there's a tiger coming out of a portal, a lot of snow and covered in white. If that wasn't the biggest signal in the world, I don't know what wouldn't be, or what would be. So obviously wearing white, it's going to be cool. We got permission from South Alabama to do that. And supposedly it was supposed to happen last year with Cal. Thankfully we didn't do it. But that didn't work out the way that we wanted it. Anyway, Neil's in here. Thanks, Neil, for checking on here. Unbeaten Lake says Jackson Arnold might be the next Tom Brady. Might be just a little bit getting ahead of yourself right there. Neil also points out in that same vein, we've got, the O-line needing to continue to connect or to protect our quarterbacks. I think it's a good point to continue to bring up, and this is an excellent example of not taking one game and just applying overarching narratives, good or bad, to a unit, to a player, to a team. Just wait till you get a fuller body of work, because if you looked at game 1 versus Baylor, looked pretty good. Only 1 sack, like first drive of the game. And in this one, there are a few more of those. I think 6, if not 5 in total. So keep in mind, we're still waiting to see what that is going to look like for them over the the course of the whole season in the next this game. And I think you get a really good picture against Oklahoma, what not only the team will be doing, but the positions like the offensive line. Hunter says number 1 in the country in sacks with 10, number 1 in the SEC in tackles with a loss 19. Elite numbers, good numbers to bring up as always to remind people of how good different units are doing at time. And certainly we're going to talk about, we'll talk about this in a little bit. I don't want to just kind of throw this in the middle of a bunch of good things, but certainly that's something that we need to address in the Auburn space this evening. Auburn Elvis is here this evening. He says 4 times total, according to Clint Richardson, Auburn Uniform Database. I know y'all hear me talk about him all the time. We're going to continue to. So whiteout has happened the white uniforms have happened 4 times total, according to Clint. Auburn Elvis has given those to us right now. 2008 versus UT Martin, 2007 versus Vanderbilt, Georgia 1965 versus in 1960 and UT Chattanooga. I think we're missing the rest of it. Yeah, I don't think it came all the way through. But if you're getting it from Clint, we'll trust it over there. So a little bit of history for you with the white uniforms. A couple of other family members checking in with us. It's good to see you guys there. And you guys know how you're supposed to be greeting Devin. Only Corey remembered the assignment. I'm disappointed in so many of you for dropping the ball on that one. All right, that's a quick get caught up here at the start. Good showing here in the crowd already. Y'all keep it going throughout the show. We're going to take some calls. We'll keep going through questions and stuff. Let me do this first and acknowledge the what was brought up by Neil. Certainly, I'll be honest with you guys first before I say this. Been a very busy weekend and really into this point, and I'm still a little bit behind what's all been kind of going on, so you guys can understand why we're kind of a little bit out of pocket for a little bit. Obviously had the first big game weekend. That was a lot of good stuff there. I announced this on the show on the Auburn Experience this week. Our little niece has been brought into the world officially as of Friday. So we had that going on. And so we were celebrating that and helping them a little bit. We have some special dynamics that I've shared a little bit with you in terms of our family and a special little life that we love so much that is not physically with us, but is here physically on this earth. Not necessary to get into full details about that here. We can at some point, but don't want to bog the show down with that today, but honoring her birthday and how much we love her. We also had my wife's birthday today and our anniversary. Happy birthday and happy anniversary to you, honey. I love you so much. And so all of that has been smashed into 5 days. So that's what's been going on in a little bit. And that's why some of these things we haven't had a time we haven't had time to address all of these specific things. So what was Neil brought this up a little earlier, saying prayers for the family of the slain AU professor. Yes, a former, just well-known, retired, I should say, at the time, Auburn University Veterinary School professor was heinously murdered in cold blood out at, I believe, Kiesel Park is where it happened, not too far from the city. And I believe they have the individual now, and they will hopefully seek the ultimate and maximum amount of justice that can be had if the person is found guilty. Obviously, you are certainly do your day in court, presumed innocent until proven guilty. But unfortunately, it looks like this may be another case where it's wrapped up really quickly, and that's an unfortunate thing for so many reasons. But obviously, a lot of people like to make fun of the phrase "thoughts and prayers," and that's fine. But I will vehemently and continue to push this out for prayers specifically for the victim, their families, and for all those that have been impacted and involved in this. It is another tragic situation that did not need to happen, and once again goes to show you that it's never the instrument of the of these types of things. It is always the heart, and the bigger issue is, do you know Jesus? Because if you do, chances are, if you're following him, you're not going to be involved in these types of situations as the perpetrator of it. So I'll get off my soapbox for a little bit, but I do want to acknowledge that Neil brought it up, and it is something, unfortunately, in the Auburn experience that we have to at least acknowledge, and it can, give our condolences to those that have been affected by it. So all that to be said, we'll move this right along. We can certainly come back around to that if we need to discuss that this evening, but want to get into a few more things here tonight. So what do we got here? Anything else in the chat before we start taking some some calls here tonight? Hunter said this: 3 of our sacks against Baylor were our offense trying to force it deep instead of running our standard offense. I think you mean against the Ball State, not Baylor, because there was only 1 sack against Baylor. So I think that's where you may have had that a little bit. Yeah, and you corrected it down there. There you go. See, I'm trying to catch up in the chat and get to all of that. So once again, we'll continue to assess that thing. Auburn Elvis says, Auburn Gym got a commitment from the #1 gymnast recruit in 2027. Yet another thing that I am behind on, Auburn Elvis, and I apologize. Normally we are much better about reporting those types of things because not a lot of people do it. And certainly we need to value them and talk about them a little bit. Auburn's win against Baylor looks really good since Baylor beat SMU. Certainly it does. I cannot stress this enough. You all need to be big Baylor fans from this point forward. And I say that having a bunch of Baylor fans in my family, and they get a little bit annoying about it. Love you guys if you're watching. But I'll just say that we certainly need to be big old Baylor fans the rest of the season. They have already made our win over them look even better. If they continue to do so, that is really going to help Auburn in the ways that they can't help themselves. So it's awesome. Yes, Mr. Rodney dropping the super sticker. I wish I had. Can I do this? Well, that used to in this system, if I did this, like starburst would happen, and it doesn't happen as much anymore. I think there's a setting I've turned off. I didn't mean so. Imagine starburst happening. Thank you, Rodney, for your support of what we do here. That is quite generous, unnecessary for you to do that, but thank you so much for supporting what we do. A little shout out from Dalton to you as well. Let's see here. Hunter says, don't be shocked if we see both Auburn and Baylor making the playoff. Whoa, we're getting out way ahead of it. Way ahead of it this evening. Let's not get too way ahead of it. I have a family member that works at Baylor. Much love for Baylor. I really don't have any ill will towards Baylor. I visited the campus a few times, even recently. And I wasn't there for the game, but for other things. And I find it quite a nice place to visit. But it's certainly, they are very interesting about their fandom over there, and it's quite interesting to see them interact. All right, let's take our first caller this evening. Let's say a quick hello to Dad by Faith. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. You know him, you love him. We got to hear from him. Captain Optimism himself, Mr. Kevin. What's going on, sir?
We're #1.
We're not quite, but in our hearts, we're #1. I love it though.
How's the running back looking?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I won't be able to give you much definitively because I'm not there at practice, nor would I have been this week. But from the word is from Coach in his press conferences, listen to his SEC teleconference today. Damari is still questionable. To me, that's the same type of verbiage that was used last week. So I would not expect him. It's my speculation to see him in this game. I don't really see a reason to at this point. Jeremiah Cobb still continues to be doing well, but people need to remember, as Coach pointed out, that he broke his thumb in fall practice and has to be careful with that. Unfortunately, Darrell Robinson had a very serious issue, it sounds like, post-game, where there was a lot of blood collecting on his thigh that had to go be removed in a procedure in Birmingham very quickly.
How's he doing?
As far as I know, he's doing okay. I don't know anything for fact. I would imagine Coach would have said, it's something to that effect, but usually they can't really speak too much about the medical side of things other than just here's what happened, here's what's going on, and that's all. He can't really update us on what specific things because of certain laws and things like that.
Hey, do you think we might see Auburn Henderson out there?
That's what I was going to get to. I was going to work my way down the thing. So he was asked about that a little bit, and he said pretty much to the effect of he has no problem throwing them out there for the run schemes, Omar or them, but they're still just learning what they really need them to do. But at the same time, you're pretty low on bodies because if Damari is out, if Darrell is out, and he is for a significant-ish, I shouldn't say significant, a extended period of time, more than a game, that really leaves you 3 scholarship running backs to work with. Justin Jones might get himself some reps as a walk-on guy. You never know.
Is Christian Burdett still there?
I forgot about Christian Burnett. I believe he is still there. I think I saw him on the roster. I could be wrong. Somebody may.
He's number 26.
Somebody may be able to clarify that for us in the chat, but that should be also another body in there. So very quickly through 2 games here, we've had some bad luck with running back injuries, but the great thing is you can see how deep and how well established this group is. Just you got a lot of young talent that might have to be thrown to the fire very quickly here.
Jackson Arnold is doing good.
Through 2 games, I've had no complaints that are of any significant nature. I have the phrase is I have no notes. I have no notes that would matter much other than the obvious things that we could.
I bet he will score some more touchdowns this Saturday.
That's probably the biggest understatement of the year. Yeah. I bet he will as well. Even if he doesn't physically score them himself, he'll pass for them. He'll set guys up on the run for it. He's having a great start. I'd like to see Cam get a little bit more involved, and I think we all would. But at the same time, I'm just happy how the team is doing overall.
And Eric Singletary.
Yeah, we just want to go through the whole list of them.
Yeah.
What else you got this evening?
I'm hoping I get to go to the game Saturday.
I know you keep telling me I'm going to meet you at one of these games, and it just keeps slipping by us. So we got to make this happen, Kevin.
Because I could not go last Saturday because
comes up.
I was at my friend's house spending the night.
Well, I hope you guys had a good time together. And listen, I'm only picking at you a little bit because I'm just eager to meet you in person. So we got to make that happen at some point.
What time? I know Tiger Walk is 9:45.
Yes, so it's always 2 hours before kickoff. So Tiger Walk will be at 9:45.
And
I will be there.
And hopefully I'll be there because I'm planning on coming if nothing happens.
I understand sometimes life just gets in the way, but remember, if you're coming, you got to wear white shirts, okay? I didn't plan this out this evening, but I am wearing a technically Auburn white shirt. I'm sporting it tonight.
I will wear my white football jersey.
That's perfect. Hey, listen, you're about as perfect as you can get on a whiteout if you're wearing an official or, at least replica white football jersey. I mean, you're about as official with the whole deal that you can get. So I love that.
Yeah, I might let all the players sign on the back of it.
Well, you got a lot of work to do because there's like 90 something people on the roster. So you better get started on it now.
I think that guy named Robert Reuter, he did good.
Robert Woodyard?
Yeah, Wizard.
The linebacker? Yeah. I think he had a great game. Xavier Atkins probably had your best game as a linebacker. He had
How
two
did
sacks, two
Champ
tackles for loss, 4
how did
tackles.
Champ Bailey, is it Champ Anthony?
Champ Bailey's been retired from the NFL for a long time. It has nothing to do with Auburn. Now, he did play for the Denver Broncos, who are orange and blue, so I'm going to work it back to Auburn for you.
Yeah. How's Bo Nitz doing?
You know, I haven't really watched the NFL much this year yet, and I don't really spend a lot of time on that, but I'll try to keep an eye on him. We can talk about him on a future stream. What I want from you, though, sir, I got to get this from you every week to round out our time. I want to hear from you your official score prediction, Auburn versus South Alabama.
Hey, how good is South Alabama?
Some people are saying they're not as bad as people are going to generally think they are. You hear a homecoming game and you go, that's an easy opponent. Not so fast, my friend. Was what
I got a friend who plays on defense, South Alabama, number 14.
Okay, well, we'll be looking for him, but I need a score prediction from you, sir. Let me get one.
Auburn 48 and South Alabama 21.
Okay, so you're giving them 3 touchdowns. Listen, I'll take a win. A win is a win is a win is a win. But, that seems a little bit closer than probably a lot of people are expecting for Auburn versus South Alabama. So we'll see if that is true for you, sir. All right, you better get on it. I need you to make plans to be there this weekend if you can, okay?
Okay, Weagle.
All right, we're good to see you, man.
Bye.
Bye. All right, that was good to hear from Kevin this evening. He usually gets us started off good on our calls this evening. Once again, let me remind you, and I'm actually going to try to fix this while we're doing the show live here. The call-in link is available. As I expressed to you guys in the opening parts of this show, that it's been a wild one, man. It has just been a wild week, and I have not been able to kind of get ahead of steam anywhere. So I think I actually need to... Where did this thing go? There we go. I can pin it to the top right now. Pin that message to the top. All right. Should be pinned up there now if it wasn't already on the YouTube side of things. So give it a shot tonight if you've never done it. We'd love to have you call in. If you're watching on Facebook, you'll have to go to the top of the chat. If you're watching on Twitter, you'll have to go to one of the others. I recommend YouTube. YouTube, it's right up there. Even if you don't want to be on camera, you don't have to be. Just call in and say hello. Just give a quick thought or question, and you can just pop on out. We just want to get to know you guys better, and this is a great avenue for you to do so, provided by our friends, barnsupply.com. Not just hats, not just apparel. Check it out. Koozies as well. I know all you got to have your game day drinks and stuff. Please do so responsibly. Got some great koozies with their different logos on there. You can see the traditional Barner Supply logo, the Rising Barn logo, and then, of course, they've got stuff with the classic Barn A logo on there as well. Thanks to barnersupply.com for supporting Auburn Family Nights, especially during football season. All right, let's get back to the questions in the comments. Let's see what everybody is saying. Dad by Faith pointed this out, and I missed it while he was here. Looks like Kevin is for the orange jerseys. He has worn that one quite a bit, I think. So maybe he is more of the orange jersey guy, and he's part of that bandwagon as well. Y'all are a bunch of weirdos. Let me go back through some of these things here. Can we have some dialogue regarding the one USC sports writer and horrendous AP poll voting? Auburn unranked, USF unranked, Florida ranked, Alabama top 10. Are we blind? I'm only, once again, this is another story this week I'm just not as well versed on because of everything that I've had going on. Lots of good things. Now, from what I understand about this, her explanations for this, she put some out because she was getting so much heat and the explanations didn't help. My outside looking in, sorry, I had to drop the chair down there a little bit. Situation is this is somebody that knows they made a mistake and is trying to cover for it now. So once again, I always stress, don't worry about these rankings. They literally mean nothing other than for another talking point online. The ones that matter come out in November. And if you continue to win, especially win the right games, the ones you're supposed to, and knock off a few people you're not supposed to, you will be well positioned to be in the ones that matter at the end of the season. But that was a odd story this week that I was barely privy to out there with everything that we had going on. Hunter also says we have to admit at some point that those orange jerseys have some legit appeal. I wouldn't mind seeing us break something similar out of a special occasion, although I know Kyle would have a stroke. Yes, the Auburn uniforms are perfect and do not need to be changed. That is my opinion, and I will not change it. Makes me a very flexible guy, doesn't it? But anyway, I know there is definitely some appeal for it, and I know it's the way I feel really about like orange jerseys or alternate jerseys is the same way I feel about Nike. I really just don't buy into the hype of it at all. I think it's a little silly, to be honest with you. But if it makes some of y'all happy, you're not going to see me making a big stink about it. I might pick at y'all a little bit for your obsession about it, but that's about it, right? That's all I really worry about. What do we got here in the chat? My beard actually might fall off. It's you gotta have more beard for it to actually fall off there. I've lost enough up here though. Felix, good to see you celebrating being 2-0. Dad by Face says, I have told people all week there's a reason Alabama and Auburn don't play the quality Sunbelt teams in state, because they can't afford to lose one of them. Alabama will never play UAB, South, or Troy. Now, you threw Auburn in there. Auburn plays them. Auburn plays Jacksonville, has played Jacksonville State. They've played, now about to play South Alabama. They have played Alabama State, Alabama A&M. There's someone I'm forgetting, I'm sure. So they have done their due diligence and played the in-state schools. My question to other schools and their fans, what are you afraid of? It's scary. There's a lot of risk to it. He would acknowledge that today. But Sanford, thank you, Hunter. There's something got to ask those questions. Roddy says, what about those green jerseys? What about those disgusting green jerseys? Clint's got a good article about that. If you haven't looked at it, type in Auburn green jerseys. His article will probably come right up for you if you want to learn some more about that, Rodney. All right, let's take a little break and get over to our next caller this evening. We are blessed to be able to go to school one more time today. There he is. What's going on, Mr. Thomas? How you doing?
War Eagle, y'all. How y'all doing this evening?
I'm doing well. I'm going to be honest, Thomas, because we didn't hear from you last week, and I know you got life outside of this. I know that's an odd thing to think about, that people don't revolve around this show. But we were really wanting to hear your opinions after week one, because let me start there with you, because we always wanted to hear your opinions about the offensive line. Remove what you're about to say about this week. Week one, how did you feel offensive line?
I felt good, and I apologize for my voice, y'all. I got the crud.
Right there with you, man. Right there with you.
Yeah, that and I traveled 2 days in a row to Atlanta last week and 2 days in a row to Duluth, Georgia this week. And boy, y'all drive like maniacs over there.
Yes, I agree.
Y'all are offensive drivers. Y'all ain't defensive drivers. Y'all's insane.
Yes, they are insane, which is why I don't love driving through it to get to Auburn, but I have to.
Boy, 85 north and south is just a war zone. But let's get back to football. All right, week one, Baylor. We didn't look perfect, but we did look good. I was overly critical watching the game.
Yeah.
But after rewatching the game 3 or 4 or 5 times, I'm a little less critical. I think we had a whole rebuilt offense. Oop, I knocked something over.
Yes.
Had a whole rebuilt offense, trying to do things they've never done before, on the road in a hostile environment of half of Jordan-Hare Stadium, and they pulled a win out. And I'm happy with it. I'm glad. I'm so happy that we won that game. 1, it makes us look good. 2, we actually showed up to play.
Isn't that something?
Showed up to play, and we won the game. And that was it pretty? Nope. It was like that voted in person at the prom that everybody went, sure, we'll give it to them. We won. I'm happy with it. Was it pretty? No. Was it a good win? Absolutely. Absolutely. It was a great win for us as a program, as a roster, as a coaching staff, as a fan base. Absolutely. Because I heard so much kerfuffle and dustbuster out of the Baylor fans that we absolutely shut them down. We could have had that thing buckled up at halftime, but we didn't. Yeah. We had a couple of bumps, we had a couple of bruises, but by the end of the third quarter, middle of the fourth quarter, we had that whole thing buttoned up, and they could shut their daggum mouths, and we won. And then we go to week 2, and we didn't start out great. The offensive line has not started out great both 2 weeks in a row, but they have gelled into it. You look at the stats, the projections, the ratings of our offensive line for these 2 weeks. They've had a couple of hiccups. Sure, we gave up 4 sacks against Ball State, but we sacked them 6 times, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I think that's right.
So we got 2 more, so we got 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't say we got 6, we got 2. So, numbers game.
Sure.
But I think we're growing. I think we're settling into where we need to be the Auburn team that we as fans want to see. And I'm always going to be overly critical during the game. But when I go back and watch everything, we're trending in the right direction. Mm-hmm. We're going where we, as Auburn fans, want to see this team to go. And I couldn't be happier about it. I really couldn't be happier about it. Because week 1, we ran the absolute turd out of the ball.
It's kind of nice to see, I'm going to be honest.
Week 2, we started passing a little more, and people going, oh, sack this, sack that, sack the other. Maybe for a second, let's consider the coaching staff told Jackson Arnold, stay in the dadgum pocket, make the throw, or take the sack. There is a possibility that was the game plan to get us ready for South Alabama. That's a better opponent than Ball State. I'm not going to say they're a lesser opponent than Baylor. I think they're a different opponent than Baylor. And then after that, we got to get into SEC play, baby. We got to put the knuckles to the grindstone. We got to get ready for real big boy football. So what's wrong with doing one game this way, one game the other way, getting everybody ready to play big boy football to win Auburn football games? And again, I'll admit I was overly critical, but dadgummit, if it's going to help us win, I'm all for it.
Yeah. I love what you pointed out, Thomas, because I don't want this to get missed by people, because you're correct. I am the same way. I am I'm more critical when I'm watching the game actively, because you're literally just taking what you saw and running with it, and then by the time you have time to process something, it's over with, something else has happened, things like that. You talked about the rough starts for the offensive line in both games. Pretty apparent. They gave up a sack, I think, definitely in the first game in both. The only sack for Baylor was in that first drive, mind you. But what happened? They settled in, as I think it was your words, and improved, got better throughout improved, got better, could be relative how the rest of the Ball State game goes. But even Hugh has talked about maybe a few of those were on the coaching staff and what they were emphasizing and what they were trying to get others to work through and work on. Trying to get a few more deep balls out there, making them stay in the pocket a little bit. So I don't really judge people off of the mistakes they make. I judge them off the response. And so both times, I think I saw enough. In the first game, I saw well over the amount of response I needed to feel better about it. Game 2, it's still kind of a hit or miss on that particular point. I think the phrase this week, Thomas, and I don't know if you've had a chance to see some of the press conferences and things like that. The word that Hugh used was, wow, I had it in my head and it's gone now. Maybe you remember it if you've heard it. Straining. He wants the offensive line and the rest of the offense, tight ends, running backs, on the blocking, whether it is on a run block or it's in the pass protection, to strain more. They know they have the ability to strain more. So it's this emphasis that we're hearing this year on the finer details of your assignment. And we're speaking about offensive line a lot here. And so the straining of that extra little bit of or effort to just drive somebody through. And we're starting to see that a little bit. I mean, Connor Lew basically ran to the end zone with Eric Singleton in that one play, which was a beautiful thing to see. I mean, because nobody wanted to touch the dude because he was laying people out and pancaking him. Anyway, that's just kind of rounding out our thoughts about that. But anything else you want to add on that, or there's something else from the last couple of weeks that you wanted to discuss with the group tonight?
Yeah, I've through both games, I've seen Connor Lew lead an Auburn player, a ball carrier, down the field. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what you want out of any blocker, whether it's a wide receiver, a running back, an offensive lineman. Doesn't matter. You want to see somebody leading him down the field going, get behind me, I got you. And I haven't seen that in Auburn in a long time. Coach Freeze talked about finishing blocks. And, we've had great blocking through these 2 games, but there's been a couple of times where a guy could have said, instead of just pushing you down, I really ought to bury your rear end in the ground. And those are those small, minute details are the catalyst for bigger plays. So these guys are watching the film, they're getting coached, they're seeing this. So I don't expect them to continue to not finish a block, no matter what position you're at. Now, if Damari Alston's running, I expect Jackson Arnold to block his tail off. Mm-hmm. If Cam Coleman is running for a touchdown, I expect Eric Singleton with his speed to get down there. You watch that first game against Baylor. What was that touchdown? One of them was out in front of the other one, arm spread, said, I got you, buddy.
Yep.
That's what we've been missing.
Yep.
That's
blocking and tackling.
Yes, it's blocking and tackling at the end of the daggone day. And for this team to shift so far over from what we've seen in the past of, I made my block, but I didn't get the ball. That's horse crap. That's ridiculous. But these guys are invested in this. I think this team really wants to win.
I think so too. Hunter had a couple of comments here, and this is more kind of moving on the offense in general. But he says, "Quote me if he's not 100% on this, but I think we've only had two drops so far that he can remember. Happy to see that drops don't seem to be an issue as much as last year. I think I've got at least 3 in my head that are coming up right now. I know of like 2 in the Ball State game, but to be honest with you, you're going to see more of that in a game like Ball State, where the goal is to get more of these guys in rotations there. So maybe whether it's the numbers correct or not, you're seeing less of those itty bitty mistakes, or they're not as prominent, not happening in crucial moments of the game that build up to something over time. Do you feel like we've had less drops, or any thoughts on that?
I think the biggest part of that comment is how the ball is thrown to receivers.
Sure.
So was your quarterback under pressure, and did he make a good throw or not?
Right.
Did he make a good throw and you dropped it, or did he make a bad throw that you couldn't catch?
Yeah.
Let's rewind 3-4 seasons. We saw a lot of balls that were, way out here.
Yep.
And you dropped that because you're running a route that you're supposed to run, and then the ball's 3-4 yards off target. Now, that's not a receiver's fault for not being able to be Superman. Now, does it come down to athleticism? To a degree. But if the ball is thrown to you right about here, right about here, right about here, right about here, you're a collegiate receiver. You ought to be able to bring that in. Now, if the ball gets tipped, I understand it. But the accuracy of the throws being made is night and day to the past 4 years.
Yeah.
And
one that's go ahead, sorry.
That backs into Bo Nix when you go back 4 years.
Yeah, no, it does. Yeah, and
well,
it's the quarterbacks, as you point out. It's not just the blocking they're getting, but it's also the bad habits that are developed for whatever reason, right or wrong, by the quarterbacks as well, about where they're throwing these balls, because they've been given reason to be scared that they're not going to be blocked for it, or they're just overcompensating themselves because that's just what they've had to live under. Yeah, I had some other point I was going to make in there, and it kind of, this whole week I've been living off of fumes, so it's flying over me tonight. But what else you got?
That's about it. I just wanted to check in early because I really don't feel that good, and I need to consume about another 3 bottles of water before I go to bed to deal with all this sinus stuff.
I am with you there myself, man. I think that's why I have not maybe as bad as you, but a little bit. I've just worn myself out, and some of that stuff's finally getting to me. So I got enough energy to do this tonight. That's about it. And I'll probably will be hoarse as anything tomorrow. But we appreciate you braving that and being here with us this evening.
It ain't no thing. It's just when I got the energy, I got it, baby. War Eagle.
All right, War Eagle Thomas. Good to see you. All right, that's our good friend Thomas. Always love going to school with him, and we would love hearing his perspectives every week he can be here. So we'd love to hear your perspectives as well. Make sure you take advantage of that call-in link. It should be pinned up at the top on YouTube. Facebook. It is at the top of the chat. You'll have to scroll if it's far down, or you're far down in the chat. If you're on X, you'll have to come over to one of the other two, preferably YouTube. So that is what you can utilize to take advantage of getting your perspectives, your voice heard a little bit more tonight. So come on in. It's open for you tonight. It's brought to you by our friends at barnersupply.com. Obviously going to be showing you lots of gear throughout the stream. You can get not just koozies, not just hats. Here's another one. Get that good old Barner traditional logo there, the script logo, as you can say. Look, trucker hats. You know I love trucker hats. I think that's probably all I've asked from them is trucker hats. The classic barn, you can get the rising barn up there or down there in the bottom of the screen if you like that so much, and can support them. Our link is in our description here. It should be tied to the post as well. If you're watching on social media, we'll share it at the end. Please, if nothing else, please go support them by just checking it out. You're going to find some great quality products there, supporting a great Auburn company, a great Auburn people in barnersupply.com. All right, let's roll through here and get to what we got to talk about that we haven't talked about yet. This is from Hunter. It says, I have been highly impressed with our linebackers, which has been a position I was critical of preseason. Now I view them as more of a strength. Do you have any opinions of the play of that group? I didn't really have them as a question mark is, I think, a fine way to categorize them, because you lost everybody, right? The main person that was coming back of true significance was DeMarcus Reddick. Robert Woodyard had been around for a while, but he hadn't had as much of a time to shine playing behind all those other guys. I think he's done well. Xavier Atkins, with the SEC experience, come through? Yes, it is. Bryce Dees, Elijah Melendez, are they ready? They've gotten some minutes, I believe. Caleb Wheatland's been in there and has been, I think, a steady, calm force. So to me, I don't think my opinion of them has really changed. More so, it just maybe some suspicions about how talented they would be has risen to the top. So I wouldn't say that maybe my opinions on them have changed. I was just kind of a cautious, quiet optimism about what they could be. This is from Alan. He says, by the way, about Connor Lew, he's the best center we've had in a long time. Bet on a long career if he stays healthy. And unfortunately, that's happened to too many people where they just couldn't stay healthy and their promise in career just cut too short. I think it's fair to say, how about this? The first center that I can tell you by name and even see his face before him would have been, now I know Tate Johnson just couldn't stay healthy, was our center, but of prominence, and that was well known, was Reese Dismukes. Very similar story. Won the starting job, or at least at some point in the season, as a true freshman, and played ever since that point. So it's interesting when you find that core guy that really can grow and build with that offensive line over time and be the leader of it. You really start seeing that show up across the board. Thomas says, I'm about as flexible as a steel beam on uniform changes. Right there with you, my friend. Right there with you. Hunter says, leading tacklers and vets, they were also underrated in pass coverage. Their departure was a major concern of mine initially, although not anymore. When you lose that talent, you lose, let's not even talk about on the field, just the leadership of that group, charisma of that group. Eugene Asante, Austin Keys, Dorian Mausi, leading tackler for most of the year. That's a hit that sometimes you can't withstand. And so to me, it was a question mark of, were the guys behind them ready? Couple that in with what they supplemented for some experience. I think the answer through 2 games is yes. Now, it's only 2 games. We're about to move into SEC play. Don't look past this game, because apparently it's going to be a little bit. And we're going to talk about this tomorrow. So to change subjects a little bit, I am very intrigued by the narratives I've seen building all week around South Alabama. We'll talk more detail about it tomorrow. I don't want us to get into our game preview just yet, so join us tomorrow. But I am very curious what this game is going to turn out like. I'm not worried right now. I'm not really concerned, but I am intrigued by what this team, South Alabama, can do. And I'm thankful that we continue to be brave enough to face the in-state schools like some other people who have yet, as far as I know, to play some of them out there. Rodney says, I do like the 45-degree angle stripes at the end of the pants years ago. I can't really picture that in my mind, Rodney, at this moment, but you know who I know who can and probably has it documented. Clint Richardson of the Auburn Uniform Database. I'm trying to build that image in my head right now, and I think you would notice the 45-degree angle a little bit less because of just the legs are always moving. So maybe it's like a change that most people didn't really have a problem with because it wasn't as prominent as something that is flat across the chest or flat on the side of a helmet. Speaking of show and tell time, most of y'all saw me play my little trick on Austin. Believe it or not, this is my first real, it's not a real helmet, but like replica helmet that I have owned. I have like used to have an old child's uniform Auburn helmet. But this is courtesy of my brother-in-law who decided that he needed to clean out the house because he's about to have tons of little girls' toys over the years with their new beautiful little baby girl, my little precious niece. Your Funkle loves you very much. He decided to hand this over to me, at least for now, for safekeeping. And Ryan, I promise. Should we just go ahead and what do we think? It's covering some things up, but we'll just put it there. We'll let it sit. Kind of cover some things up. It's still really dark, but we'll let it sit there for a minute. Anyway, there we go. Thank you, Kevin. This is Kevin checking in with us, and maybe more into two, but thank you for the happy anniversary wishes. Yes, my wife and I have been married for 14 years. As of today is also her birthday, and so we are very excited today, just celebrating her, and thankful that I have a wife that supports what I do and allows me to take risks for this at times, and is very just the best partner in crime and friend that I could ask for in life. Wear the helmet next stream. Thomas, I wore it on the Auburn. That's literally the first couple of minutes of it. But you see, it is a true like replica one. It's got that plastic thing, and I don't really want to take it out. I guess I could, but I don't really want to. So it doesn't really fit on top well. It kind of shifts down like this. So, but I threw it on one time. Maybe another time. But there you go. At least there's a somewhat legit looking helmet in the background now. I don't really love it there the more I look at it on screen, but maybe y'all do, and that's probably what really matters. This is from Hunter. He says, did you see Hugh's pregame speech, the video of it? You owe them something. So, certainly that is one of the bigger things that's being shared on social media, and I hate that we couldn't get involved in the commentary as much around that, but we saw it. It's strong stuff. The joke that people like to say about Hugh is brother Hugh, preacher Hugh, and he definitely brought that out in a non-religious format, but that power of speaking very well in his pregame speech, and get a little fire lit up in your butts there, and get you moving around a little bit quicker. I think, at least it would for me if that was my head coach. Alan says, I'm glad it seems every Auburn fan is saying don't overlook South Alabama. We are more aware and prepared, in my opinion. I think most are. Here's the thing, though, Alan. We all have experienced too many years now of the homecoming game being in jeopardy. I point you to Missouri. At least that's an SEC opponent. If not for a great play and fumble recovery, that would have been a loss. If it not for one TJ Finley, that would have been a Georgia State homecoming loss. That I did the rally cap. We'll use a Varner hat for that, like that, and the magic of the rally cap won it out. My cousin didn't believe me until then, but don't ever take those for granted. Rodney says, "Are you from Auburn?" I am not from Auburn. I am originally from Montgomery, Alabama. I've lived a few other places, but I live now currently in Georgia, or roughly 2+ hours away, depending on what type of traffic we have to be a challenge through. I hope to live in Auburn one day. I have fortunate to have a lot of friends and family that currently have will again, and probably still will come back that live in Auburn that are gracious enough to let me kind of utilize them as a resource there to be able to stay longer and things like that. But yeah, I hope to do that one day. There's something, not for me personally, my wife, but something in the works that may allow me to have a more, I want to say permanent residence, but like permanent availability there in the coming years. Maybe we'll talk more about that soon. Hunter says, I will donate $10 to the next stream if you wear an entire Auburn uniform for the next stream, helmet, jersey, eye black, and all. 1, don't have one. I have just the jersey. 2, haven't been able to get in the jersey yet. I'm kind of scared to be honest with you. 3, I don't like being that uncomfortable for a whole hour sitting here like that. And 4, see all the other 3. Rodney, listen, you are preaching to the choir right here. I want to move back today. But in all seriousness, I'm pretty frank with you guys here, those of you that are in the Concord Club, about our family dynamics and situation. Jessica has a really good job here. We are very thankful for what she gets to be a part of as an employer here, and well, an employee, but an employer in some sense. And she has a great future, what she's doing here. So once that kind of aligns with her career path and mine to move to Auburn, we will certainly consider that. It is not going to be too far. I was born in Baptist South, and someone very special to me was born in Baptist East. Happy birthday, baby girl. So let's see here. 14. Oh, I saw this circulating. Great to bring up, Unbeaten Lake. 14 years ago today, Ryan Smith stopped Chris Relf. What a name pull out there. Short of the goal line. All right, cool story here. Let me talk about this because I love that you brought this up. So today is my anniversary. 14 years ago, I was married to the love of my life, Jessica Reese Loomis. No, Jessica Lynn Reese. Had to get that right, but Jessica Loomis now. So we were married, obviously, today on September 10th, and it is her birthday, September 10th, and it is ironically my father's birthday as well. So my father has since passed away. Still carry on his memory and his legacy. Part of why you have me here is because of him. So you have him to thank for all of the shenanigans that you see here, in a sense. So happy birthday as well, Dad. But that day, I swore up and down, I am never, ever going to get married on an Auburn football game. And then you meet the love of your life and you're like, okay, whatever. I hate it, but not the get married part, that I have to get married during an Auburn football game. And of course that you pick it on a Saturday, but you don't know what time the game is going to be. And of course it would happen during our ceremony. A couple cool stories out of this. One, we're getting ready to get lined up to start going to our spots during the ceremony. And I have to walk my mom down the aisle, so I wasn't already up at the front. And so I remember kind of waiting for that to start getting organized and get prepared. And I look around, and I notice that all my groomsmen are missing. Every one of them. And I'm like, did I miss my cue? Is something like, are they already down there? And so I start looking for them. I go down the halls of the church, and I end up like going down some of these dark halls. And I'm like, well, surely nobody's back here. But I kept hearing this faint little, just like crackles of stuff. I'm like, okay, walk down further, walk down. I mean, I'm this is not a big church, but I'm going far into places that like clearly no one was supposed to be. Somehow, some way, someone had gotten access to a radio and had turned it on down there. I forget, I don't know who to blame, whether it was one of my groomsmen or a family member, because my uncles and cousins were in there too, those that weren't part of the party, the wedding party. And they were listening to the game in the dark, all huddled around this. I'm like, what are we doing? I'm trying to get married here. And sure enough, they all scray after that. The other funny story is according to one of our guests that was paying attention to the game, probably during the ceremony, at least on their phone right there. Legend has it that as we said our I do's, Ryan Smith met Chris Ralph at the 1-yard line and stopped him from scoring to securing Auburn the win. I don't know if it's true. It's a tall tale, but hey, it is what it is. Let's see. Anything else? Rodney says, do you know where they're building? Do you know they're building another high school called the Plains? I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of that. I could be a little bit better about being up to date with like the town stuff. We're trying to do that as much as we can. This is from Neil. My wife surprised me with an AU groomsman cake, sang the Auburn fight song at the reception. Wife's family was not happy. Yeah, we've got a lot of mix as well in our both of our families, mainly Auburn on my side, but there's a few. Sorry, Mom, if you're watching right now. Love you. I just told her the other day I talk about her all the time, so it'd be funny if she was watching right now on her new YouTube TV. Wink, wink at you. But anyway, I had a groomsman cake that was Auburn. It was a white cake, but had orange and blue stripes in it, or either it was orange and blue stripes, or it had like one layer that was blue, one was orange, something like that. It was really cool. Loved it. It was frankly my favorite cakes, and I'm more of a chocolate guy myself. And then we did shakers, and people sang the fight song as we left in the car, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, listen, the way you get around this is not get married in the fall. But when you meet the love of your life and she asks, can I be married on my birthday, on your dad's birthday, 9, 10, 11? It's not really a battle I can win, right? Thank you for the anniversary wishes, and to my father. And yeah, we've got it's little personal here. So I said a little bit of this at the start. We've got a very just unique stretch of time here, especially with the birth of my niece back on the 5th. Yes, that would be. Today's the 10th. Today's Wednesday. 8. I'm doing math, y'all. This is dangerous. 10, 8, 9, 8, 7, 6. So the 5th. So we've got her. Won't get into the details of the story again, but once again, baby girl, happy birthday to you on the 10th, the 9th. And then the 10th is my wife's birthday, our anniversary, and my dad's birthday. And so it's just wild. It's just wild. And your daughter's birthday is today. So look at all the happy birthdays. It's tough. It's tough to get them all in there together, isn't it? Going back to the game, I just remember Dan Mullen looking completely dead inside as he walked out for that handshake. Yeah, that close to knocking Auburn off at home. That would have been a nice, right after the championship year, too, for him to do that for himself. But alas, we have stopped him. Oh, quite generous. He says, beat USA. No, it would not be USA. South Alabama. Thank you for your kind generosity, sir. Shout outs to our super chat so far. Thank you so much to Rodney. Did it earlier, Thomas. You guys are awesome. Thank you for your support of everything that we do here at E2C Network. All right. Let's see. Couple things here. We're a little bit over our allotted time that we spend, but we're just right at an hour on record time. So we still got some few minutes we can spend with y'all. Keep your questions and comments coming if you want to round out the show. I will take final requests for the call-in link. Once again, this is a great opportunity for those of you that have never utilized it before to just give it a try. Come in, say hello, and if that's all you want to say, that's fine. Get used to it. Develop that muscle memory. This is something that's here for you guys. We want you to utilize it. Thanks to hearing from Kevin tonight, from Thomas, so many of you all that have called in the past before. Please take the opportunity to utilize that on Wednesday nights. It's for you to take center stage and hear less of me. It's a brilliant thing, right? And it's always brought to you by our friends at barnersupply.com. You can see that cool logo that I'm wearing, the one down there in the bottom right corner. We've showed you some gear throughout the stream, the hats. We've showed you the koozies, different sizes of those. We've got Velcro patches with the Rising Barner. We've got stickers that you can get a Barner. There were a couple of other ones here that are running all over with the fan Barner there, the Barn Hard one as well. Barnersupply.com. Links in our description. Should be on the post as well if you're on social media watching. If you need the link, can't get it, to shop through them as affiliate. We appreciate them supporting us each and every Auburn Family Night during the football season. Love those guys. Great Auburn people. So support them. Support Auburn folks. All right. Final announcements. I don't have all the cue cards ready for you, but certainly I do want to encourage. I don't have any, actually. Tomorrow night, Auburn preview prediction show, Auburn versus South Alabama, 8 Eastern time, right here on YouTube. We will also have our Tiger Walk live stream, Wi-Fi provided or connection provided. No problems last week, so I don't expect that to be an issue, but that's at 9:45. Great crowd watched that live and in the replay, so do that again for us. We'll have a post-game stream from the mobile broadcast studio, aka my car, and went pretty well with the new way I did it this week, so we'll see how it does during the daytime. But join us for that if you can. It'll be a great show as well. Hopefully talking about another homecoming win. We're going to have videos about the homecoming parade. We're going to have videos about the pep rally, the floats, probably other things that I'm not even aware of, homecoming court. So get ready. Homecoming week is at hand. I'm excited, but I'm also ready for a nice break for the bye weeks, or excuse me, the away games and the bye weeks too, to catch up on some things. All right. Anything else that we've got that we need to cover tonight? Neil says, I cannot wait for the 3-game gauntlet with Texas A&M, Okie, there's a bye week, and then Georgia. It's a good stretch, really good stretch. Do you believe that Jackson Arnold is deserving of Heisman talks? Been hearing rumbles. I don't think anybody should really be in the Heisman talk 2 games into the season. I think that is, once again, just conjecture that we have because we're bored and we need something to talk about when things get a little bit more calmed down, and they tend to do that during weeks 2 and 3 when there's not as much of the big profile games together. I think it's just a little bit premature to be talking about that. That's just my prediction. You don't have to think about it, but that's just me. He says, I'd agree. However, it's cool to see Auburn name being spoken of in such high regards, and it's been getting some decent betting odds to win it. I think it's a good nod, tip of the cap to the early efforts, but certainly it is, a little bit too early. Predictions a little too early, all that stuff. Yeah, the post-game mobile broadcast studio. It's not even just the post-game. I guess that's what we mostly do in there, but I've done it's usually post something. Thomas, I've done post getting to tour the football facility, practice facility when that first opened. That was post that. A-Day, but that would be a post-game technically too. Done post-game streams. It's mainly post something. So the post mobile broadcast studio, aka my car. It's good stuff, but hey, man, it's I'm not acting like it's the most productive thing to do out there, the most well-rounded thing that I could do, but it works for me. The E2C mobile broadcast studio and pavilion. Working on that, Thomas. All right, guys. My voice is starting to go just like Thomas's. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight, participating with us. We do appreciate that so much, especially with the little bit of audio issues I was having at the beginning that thankfully got corrected. And for those of you that follow our normal content and noticed probably been a little bit lacking on that for the first part of this week. It's just life sometimes, man. And we're getting back on the saddle of that. Had a lot going on, a lot of good things, but just a lot going on. Yeah, so thank you for that. One last question. Is Alex giving it a go this Saturday? Have no clue. Not at practice. Haven't really heard anything outside of what's been shared at press conferences. And I don't think there's anything that's been said openly about that. Thanks for being here, guys, for participating and being part of our little family within the Auburn family. Until we talk to you again on the next Wednesday night, Auburn Family Night, or something else, War Eagle.